Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fast and Loose, episode 76 of the Homegames podcast. I'm Yazeed, and this is Joseph.
Hello, I'm Joseph, and today is April 5th, 2021. And today for Homegames stuff, we're talking about my game catalog, service stuff, and some other topics. But truth be told, I don't really know yet because we spent the weekend together. We'll probably talk a little bit about that. And then we're recording episode 77 right after this. So in terms of what we're talking about, I'm not the expert right now.
Long day on the potty. How's it going, man? What's up? What's happening?
It's good. This weekend happened, and it was a bachelor party for myself since I'm getting married on Saturday, which is pretty nice.
Hell yeah.
We're wearing headphones while we record this for the first time in 77. Sit down and record an episode, and
They're not plugged in. They were just
just to look professional. But no, it's always super inconsistent, the audio between the two of us. Basically, our whole process is I'll show up at Yazeed's house, I hit record, we talk for 10 seconds, I play it back on my computer speakers at any volume. It's like, yeah, that sounds all right.
An arbitrary volume.
Yeah, but somewhere between 30 and 96, I'll play that back. And we just say, yeah, that's good. So now we can hear ourselves while we speak, which is kind of off-putting. So it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting used to it already. What I like about it is it helps me modulate my volume, which I'm noticing.
Yeah, but the weird thing to me is I have no idea how loud I am. I can't hear anything except my headphones. So I could be whispering, and I have no idea how, like, in the room, how loud I am.
I think you're probably fine. My dog is sensitive to loud noises, so...
Great. Well, I know I'm not screaming. I have that kind of awareness.
I don't. I literally, when I get excited or not focused on my volume, I don't know if I'm yelling, if I'm whispering. I gotta just go. I open my mouth and noises spill out, and I call it a day.
Yeah, it's kind of freestyle everything.
Yeah,
I respect it.
Yeah, I have just a short story to tell. So, like, I think I told people on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Or maybe last week, I learned how to ride a bicycle for the first time. Mm-hmm. And I went, this is like the first time I left my neighborhood on my bike.
Like on the road or?
Yeah. Like, okay. I went on the road for a little bit. It's like I walk my dog in the mornings and I come back and I hop on and I go for a little bit because I'm still learning. And today when I was going, I got caught up in like the bike gang. Like that just bikes out where I live. And there's like 50 people and they all like wear matching little like jumpers or whatever the bike outfits are called.
Is this the white dads I've run into a couple times? They just look like a crew. Yeah,
they're like a crew, like a whole vibe going on with them. But I got like mixed up in them and I'm way slower and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they just like slammed through and I was like trying to like keep pace with them.
Yeah.
I'll never join a bike gang, I don't think. I'm not into it.
When you say bike gang, it paints a picture of like leather jackets and fatties in a bar. But I know this is white dads.
I don't know what
to
call them. Like, are they would you call them like a bike club?
Bike club sounds like a violent gang. That sounds more violent than a bike
right?
gang.
Yeah, like
a bike club.
Like, yeah,
No, you guys are killing people.
Yeah, like I don't know what they're like group, a bike group,
sure,
bike squad. Whatever, bicycle enthusiast team.
Yep.
A bet.
Let's just keep it going.
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever join that. They're way too intense and into it, and I'm just trying to learn how to ride a bicycle. I literally had to get off my bike to turn around at one point because I was afraid I couldn't make a turn sharp enough, and I didn't want to eat asphalt, and also I didn't want to eat asphalt in front of the bike gang. Because they looked over at me and like did a little wave thing. They're like, "Oh, sup, bruh? You're part of our crew now." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing." Like, I'm struggling. Tynan also was talking to me. We went Tynan too. He was there this weekend. He was talking to me about bicycles, and he was like, "Oh, bro, is it like a fixed wheel or like a loose cap or whatever?" I was like, "I don't know anything. I have to pedal the whole time. That's all I know."
Yeah, luckily I was driving during that conversation, so I kind of got to watch you struggle with it, and I didn't say a word.
Yeah, I was really hoping for someone to hop in and help me, and then Alex kept asking me why I didn't like weightlifting, and I was like, bro, I don't know what to tell you. I don't find it enjoyable.
That's a perfect example of or a perfect description of our friend group. You got Alex there being like, fuck what you're talking about, go lift. And Tynan's like, fuck whatever you're talking about. Let me tell you about engineering bikes.
Yeah. I was really, I mean, Tynan's stuff is very interesting. Alex just basically just told me to go work out and then start to like it because I've been devoted so much time to it, which really reminds me of like the sunk cost fallacy from econ. There's things that I enjoy doing, and it's like, oh, or you could work out, and it's like, why would I choose to do that? And it's like, if you do it enough, you'll like it. It's like, that's true about like everything. It's like, I don't think there's anything in this world that if you did it enough, you wouldn't like it.
I'm sure there's a ton of things I'll never like Game
meth.
of Thrones or meth. Maybe you combine them and they both get all right. Kind of balance each other
No,
out.
meth starts off enjoyable, and it continues being enjoyable until you're like selling teeth.
Tooth market real hot right now.
Hyena's got to eat. I don't know anything about the meth market. I don't know. Yeah. Save me.
I thought you were the resident meth expert. It's kind of why I got you on the podcast from the start.
You're like, yeah, we're gonna make a Homegames, which is like like for people like make and play games locally. I need a meth expert on this for that.
Well, you got to be well rounded. I mean, I can bring the kind of technical know-how. I know a little JavaScript, but I need some of that raw, gritty street energy. Is kind of why I wanted you. You just really ooze that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to make it in the podcast, but I was talking earlier about how awkward I am just interacting with people regularly. I'm not a streetwise individual.
Well, because we're so awkward and there was such a gap there, I'm probably just going to open right on the opening, so they're not going to hear any of that.
Hell yeah,
really
bro.
Good stuff.
That's what I like. That's what I like to see. I mean, listen, I'm trying to get to the other stuff before we talk about the bachelor party stuff. Because the other thing I just want to say is that your boy hit level 20 in World of Warcraft.
That seems low.
That is low. 60s max. When we were playing our old characters, I hit 44, 45, something like that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you feel complete? More complete as a man?
No. I won't feel complete until I have 2 level 60s.
Okay.
Sorry, I won't feel complete until I have 2 level 70s. Because once the expansion is 70. No, I'm leveling something that can tank in DPS, and then I'm leveling another thing that I'm gonna heal and range DPS. So basically, I'm covering all of the roles that you can do. Just doing it in a way that means that I can actually be useful, and I'm not just there being like, please drop like the slippers to add 2 more damage per second so that I can damage the rogue or whatever. I'm like pull the boss. I'll get the tar kicked out of me for 4.5 minutes, or I'm like, all right, that tank's gonna pull the boss and get the tar kicked out of him for 4.5 minutes. I'm gonna tape him up and call him okay for 4.5 minutes.
Do you care about the aesthetics of your gear, or you just care about the numbers?
I only care if they're comparable numbers. Like if it's close enough, then I'll be like, okay. Like in this is like back in Cyberpunk days. The
game just came out.
Well, I don't know if you saw all the news with it.
There's a patch.
Yeah, but the other news, like CDPR is most likely is not gonna put out any major DLC or anything for Cyberpunk
Because it got like hacked or whatever, right?
I mean that too, but
they shouldn't put out DLC. That game's fucked still.
Yeah,
sell me anything.
No. I mean like ever. Like they're not gonna put out any major DLC for it.
Okay.
Like they're gonna just put out a new Cyberpunk game and a new Witcher.
Yeah, that makes sense. They've like thoroughly embarrassed themselves with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that was pretty poor showing. I mean, I enjoyed.
They're still doing it. 1.2, the new patch just came out, and there's a Digital Foundry video on it, and they're just like, I guess, man. It's just fucked.
Yeah, I got a news article that was like, are you excited to play the new patch of Cyberpunk? Well, temper your expectations. That was the title, and I was like, oh no. And I read the article, and I was like, oh no.
There's like speculation that they basically prioritized PS4 optimizations in that patch because they want to get back on the store. And Sony still won't let them because their game is so fucked. It's like
embarrassing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have this thing on a very small scale where I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to get this thing done by this time, and then I come back and I'm just like, I couldn't do that, you know? But like, that sucks. But being like, no, this is currently fucked, and I'm still trying to maximize my profits.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
Yeah, that's not a good look for what's supposed to be like, you know, the up and coming AAA developer.
Yeah, well, I was reading that book. What's it called? Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The one book I read. So I'll keep referencing this, trying to juice it as much as I can. You know, trying to look smart. But basically, they were saying, or he was saying in that book, that CDPR, kind of CD Projekt from the beginning, was always trying to like put Poland on the map in terms of video games and getting recognition as a studio that can make like a GTA quality level game. And it seems like the people who work there like genuinely have that ability. It's just they got fucked on business, basically, on the business reality of needing to ship a game because they announced it 8 years ago.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting when like a country that you wouldn't expect to put out like an insanely popular game like does, like Turkey. They have a studio. This is like this is like, I don't want to get like too political with it, but there's a development studio in Turkey, and they came out with the Mountain Blade series. I don't know if you've even
Mountain Blade Warband.
Yeah, Mountain Blade Warband, and they were coming out. They were supposed to come out with Mountain Blade Warband 2. Yeah. So we're gonna call it the second one in the series. But then there was like a coup attempt in Turkey, and you weren't allowed, so they had to like stop production on it. So like that game got pushed back by like a year or something crazy because of that.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean that game is, I mean, Mountain Blade Warband, for people who are into that kind of game, it's like it's like a niche, very popular game, I would say.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because like people don't give a fuck about you. You know, it's like everybody experienced 2020 as a collective. Everybody knows, you know, March 2020, the month that changed me. It's like a big, you know, communal thing that we all share. And then still people are here like, yeah, I understand that you worked on your game, and then the whole last year of its release was remote, just like how my job was hard. Your job was probably super hard, but like, fuck you. And I get it, you know, don't sell me something if it's not good.
Yeah,
fuck you, really.
Yeah.
So I see both sides. Like, you know, the odds were all stacked against them, I guess, in terms of getting that game out when they got it out, and they were originally planning on it being 8 months before that. Can you imagine how fucked that would have been? It's just weird.
I can't imagine the driving being worse. Yeah. Literally, I think not driving in that game added like 2 hours of my playtime because I just ran everywhere.
Yeah, I'm planning on going back to that game at some point. I'm in no rush.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna wait like a year or two before I play it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been playing kind of just older stuff since I've been on my little boomer run still. So I got my whole setup. So I have a 360, a PS3, and a Wii U, and then, you know, kind of the newer stuff too. But I was playing DJ Hero earlier, and I had never played DJ Hero. After the weekend of the bachelor party stuff, playing Guitar Hero, like I'm pretty great at Guitar Hero. Like
Humble brag.
I'm good at Guitar Hero, and I'm very used to that instrument and stuff, like the fake plastic guitar stuff and moving my fingers. But I never played DJ Hero, and I like hip hop obviously, so it's kind of weird that I never gave that game a shot. And anyway, saw it on eBay recently, so I started playing that, and I don't like it much, but I think it's really interesting that it exists. Like, it feels like DJ Hero never got really a shot to be as big as it could have been, but it feels kind of cool, like doing this for a little bit while the song is changing, and then you kind of feel yourself doing this and you're just embarrassed, you know? Like on a classic guitar, you can kind of be portable wherever and kind of do whatever. It's just this, and you can sit, stand, whatever. But you have to keep a turntable on your lap and like do this, and you have a crossfader to do whatever, and it's super involved. And I like that it exists. I just felt really stupid playing it. And that's basically my video game thing for this week.
I didn't even know that existed. That's pretty wild.
It's the turntable that has the record looking thing, and it's got 3 buttons on it. And then you've got a little knob over here where you can move it left and right. There's left, right, and center on it. It's the crossfader or whatever. And there's a button, and then there's another little knob. Basically, the game is Guitar Hero style. Stuff will come down the track at you. You hit the button. Basically, like on Guitar Hero, you hold the button and strum on the hit. You just hit the button on the thing. There's no strum equivalent. But some notes you hit and then hold, and then scratch while you're holding it. Ooh. So you got to do like one of these, and it's cool. Like I said, the idea of it is cool. My hands are big and weird, so like on a little plastic cheap turntable, it feels silly. But the game feels cool because it feels like the people who made it have a legitimate love for the genre of hip hop. Like they have Grandmaster Flash, who's one of like the original inventors of the genre, who's like in the game. And I think there was a Renegade edition of the first game. They called it that because it was That's the name of a Eminem and Jay-Z song from forever ago. And so there was like a limited edition Jay-Z and Eminem bundle on like a black gold turntable that was like $300 or some crazy shit. Anyway, there's like an awareness of the genre and that kind of stuff, which I thought was cool, but I don't think I'll play it more. It was just a cool thing I tried this week.
That sounds pretty fun though. It's just like something to try out.
Yeah, I don't want my house to be more full of plastic bullshit, but kind of like we talked about last week, it's like I care about this plastic bullshit more than probably most people would, so I feel like I have an obligation to own it because I'm preserving it better than like the next person would, I think, you know?
It's probably true.
But I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like, I don't want it, but I feel like I owe it to the world to keep it. I'm going through some shit, dude. Getting married in 5 days, like my brain is weird. I don't know. I can't think normal.
Does it like change your perspective of your relationship with Synovia, knowing you're getting married to her in 5 days?
It's
I should have asked you this at the bachelor party, but I couldn't put words out of my mouth, honestly. I was trying, but nothing came out, apparently.
It's fine. No, it doesn't change anything. It just solidifies it in the most formal way that our society can do, which is like the legally binding document. And it's odd to think that like the relationship is going from this individual human connection thing to something above that. You know, it's like there's a religious and state part of it too, like being married, and like it means a lot to, you know, a lot of things. And now that it's finally happening, you know, time keeps ticking forward. So it went from being 2 years away to 6 days away to whatever, 5 days. So it's just close and it's big. And the fact that it's coming and like I can't stop it. Not that I want to, but it's just coming. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, like I told you during the bachelor party, I wrote some of my vows this weekend, and it was very hard doing that just because I'm really okay with writing to Synovia, like a nice card, whatever, that whole kind of thing. But vows are like making that very personal note a show. And I'm just reading this thing in front of dozens of people, everybody close to me. And like, there's pressure to make Synovia cry, make my family cry. You know, it's like all this time, all this whatever. After 10 years of being together, you should have vows that like, you know, fucking make me sad that I'll never find love like yours. but it's weird. I put that pressure on myself too, but it's hard.
Yeah, I would say the one of the weddings that I went to, the groom hand wrote his vows. And he cried so hard when he was reading them that nobody but probably the wedding party, like the people who were like right next to him, couldn't understand what he was saying. He really just kind of broke down while he was talking to when you're at the altar, is it cool if I just say his wife, or is it still his fiance?
I think calling her my wife before the thing is just incorrect.
Well, I mean, listen, you're exchanging vows. Is she your wife then?
No,
is she your fiance?
In that moment, yeah, she's my gal.
She's your gal. All right, so his gal, his gal. She I don't remember if she cried. He cried. I almost cried. I was like, shoot.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cry during my. I started crying writing the vows, and I was like. Because I've written them 3 times, basically. I had my first one where I was just, you know, like I said, that hurdle of, you know, the SpongeBob episode.
Yeah.
It's basically that. And just trying to get the structure of it down. Well, the first try, I wasn't trying to get structure. I was just trying to get words. And it was just like word vomiting on the page to try to get some sort of idea of my thoughts.
Yeah, like brainstorming.
Yeah, and it was just sentences. So it's kind of like a serial killer wrote a love letter because they're all disconnected sentences. It's just like, your smile is beautiful. I love when you laugh. It's that type shit with like no emotion or like.
I think if you held on to that and you Like, you know, like some people like get remarried or whatever a couple of times to their person,
like renewing your vows.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it's called. Not remarried.
Yeah, they expire against you.
I think you should read the original version at like your however long into it.
Well, that's the thing. See, that's what I'm talking about with the vows. I would show Synovia everything I wrote.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing and it's stupid and some of it's dumb and it's like crossed out. I'm just like, why the fuck did I say that? I would show her that because that's her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't read that to you because it's embarrassing, you know? Like, I don't know. And then trying to incorporate personal things. Again, it's like putting on a show. It could be like, you remember this thing that we both think is funny. If I reference this specifically, they won't get it. So let me talk about this other less funny thing for the audience. But I'm diluting my content, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Interesting. It's gonna be a difficult thing to do.
I'm almost done.
Are you comfortable in public speaking? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I think honestly doing this podcast has made me more comfortable with people hearing my voice. Because I know how I talk, and I know, like, listening back what I sound like.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, oh, that guy's stupid, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but not like I used to.
You're a doof, but you're not an idiot.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. But yeah, I think I'm probably more comfortable speaking. And, you know, that day it'll be... Well, you can judge me at my wedding.
Listen, you can get up there and just scream for 2.5 minutes, then put a ring on Zenobia and we'll all clap anyway.
Better.
I'll fight anyone who doesn't clap at your wedding. Yeah. I'll put that out there.
That's the other weird thing is, like, there's going to be event security and like all that kind of stuff.
Me, no.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're the real security.
No, yeah.
got the blicky on.
I got a Clippy.
Clippy, the fucking guy from Microsoft Word.
No, what is the line? It's got something that it can do a drive-by for 2 blocks straight. I thought it was a Clippy.
The clip in my new Glock's great. Long enough to do a drive-by
for 2 blocks straight. I remember the 2 blocks straight part of this. I can never remember the way he opens into it.
Yeah, I was super proud of Yazeed to all of our audience.
I shouted Luda really loud.
Oh, that too. Yeah, a Ludacris song came on and you just shouted Luda. But when No Instructions came on, like the second it was on, you're like, oh, I know this song.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's my boy.
I listen to that song a lot. I really like that song. I know bits and pieces of it. I no way I could sing along to it. I heard, like, when I was sitting in the front seat with you, I realized that you were actually like going along with all the songs. And I can't do that with like 90% of the stuff I listen to.
Just practice. It's like a new language. Like when you're like, ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Yeah.
Just repeat it. So you just got to do the, when it comes to this hustling, I got funds in abundance and I learn quick because a brick don't come with instructions. Just repeat that over and over. You'll get it. You'll start trapping in no time.
Do you know the first time I heard the brick don't come with no instructions line, I thought he was talking about like
building a home,
a building brick. And I thought what he was saying is like he'd kill a man with a brick, but they don't come with any instructions. Like, you got to figure that out yourself. And I was like, damn.
You thought that was the hardest shit on earth.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I still do now that I know what he's actually talking about. But I was, at the time, the first pass, I was like, this man's talking about killing a man with a brick. That's and brutal. How that doesn't even come with any instructions on how to do that. Like, if somebody gave me a brick and was like, go kill that guy.
You need instructions?
No, I mean... What is the best way to do that? I don't know. Yeah, so I'd be a little panicky.
That's a good point. You gotta use your intuition to know what to do in that situation.
Do you throw? Do you just go for it? What do you do?
That's gonna be one of my questions on episode 77. You know, one of the hard hitting topics. How would you kill a man with a brick?
How big is the brick? How tall is the building?
Let's say industry standard size brick. What's
industry standard size brick. Let's just get up really high.
Brick size brick.
What I do is I lay a Wile E. Coyote style trap where I put a really tall ladder and I put bird seed and then they come to me like, what is this? And then I drop a brick. But then through some odd series of events, the brick doesn't fall and then I'm confused. So like really start tugging on it and then I like hop off the ladder to really get it going down and then it falls and then the roadrunner obviously is like beep beep and leaves. And then like I land first and like accordion it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go, in my opinion. I think most peaceful. Most
Get Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking maybe running in to a rock full speed, thinking it's a cave, but I like yours too.
Wile E. Coyote is a real tough son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, enough about Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
You want anything to talk about, or you're moving on to home game stuff?
Yeah, I just had one thing that happened today / this past week I just thought was interesting. Are you familiar with the rapper YG?
No.
He's got that song My Fella.
Okay.
You probably know the song. All right, with my finger on the trigger. I'm going outside all day with my fellas. Anyway, he's got that song. He's got some other hits. He's a pretty big rap name. His album in 2014 called My Crazy Life. Pretty good, right? Just whatever. It's an album. And over the past week, someone, somewhere, somehow decided that one of the songs on that album is just not good anymore because of like current events and it references things, right? You know, that whole thing. For whatever reason, they took it off of streaming services. And it just like triggered that thing in me that makes me want to buy DJ Hero and PlayStation 1s on eBay, is like removing things that are available, like media, entertainment, art, whatever type stuff. Mm-hmm. Because an album that came out 7 years ago, someone one day decided that the world can't hear this song anymore. And because it's all centralized into two companies, basically Apple and Spotify, it's like they can just do that. And I really hated that. So I kind of it made me realize why I never liked or trusted Spotify in the first place. Please share this podcast with your friends on Spotify and Apple Music. But I just really don't trust streaming thing. You're essentially leasing entertainment. You can spend, $180 a year listening to music, and at the end of that year, you can't listen to any of it anymore. Mm-hmm. That's nuts. If I bought that CD, which I did, I own My Crazy Life on CD. I can play Meet the Flockers all I want. That's the song that was controversial. And if you pay for it every month on Spotify, you can't. And I don't really have like the end conclusion, just the gut reaction of I hate that, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure everything I care about is still available to me. Mm-hmm. Because I understand the intent behind wanting to do that if it's referencing violence or anything like that kind of a thing, but also leave it. Like I understand, but you put it out. You can take that same thinking to anything, and anything can be violent, offensive, aggressive, whatever. Like, and you can take it. This song came out 7 years ago, and they're mad because it applies to something happening today. Like, so they're not related. I mean, they're related, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. This came out years ago. Yeah. I don't know.
I think this is just one of those difference of opinion type thing, a different of people type things. I think for me, I really have been trying to narrow down my position on this stuff, because when I talk to you, I can't just be like, yeah, I think fuck this, yeah, because you'll be like, how dare you speak to me like that? I think my position is that I think that the impact something has on you is more important than the thing itself.
That can be.
So I think that the fact that you listen to that song and could...
I don't even like that song.
Right, but I think that... Wait.
I don't even know what that song sounds like.
Huh?
The problem is that someone decided that a 7-year-old song can basically be removed from circulation.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Okay.
If I put out the Home Games podcast... Yeah. And it's shitty. No one gives a fuck. No one likes it.
Episode 0.
Episode 0. What is this? Turn that off.
Yeah.
Okay. It's still up and it's still available. And I think it should still be available for people to say that's shitty because I made it and I put it out. If I decide one day that I no longer like it, I shouldn't be able to just remove it from existence. Mm-hmm. I just disagree. Like, there are videos I put up as a kid on YouTube that were embarrassing, stupid bullshit. and I deleted them, and my hard drive crashed. So they're gone forever, like gone. There's videos of me and Alex saying shit that's like not okay today. But I wish I had those videos because that happened. Me deleting it doesn't make it not happen. It's just me trying to hide something, and I don't like that. Like, erasing history is my problem. You can't change history.
I agree. I think I don't know. That's a difficult position because I think where I was going with that was like if that song like had any kind of influence on you, then that's what gets carried forward. Like you are, in a way, I think I view it as like you, the consumer, is a historical
product.
Yeah, well, like product, but like you're like a historical reference to it, right? Like you've been influenced by all the media and stuff you consume.
I'm like
so
a product of the world I grew up in.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like having I'm sure like it's important for like, you know, posterity to some extent or whatever, but I think what's more important is how you were influenced by something. I don't have an opinion on Spotify removing stuff. I don't really. My favorite band of all time got removed from Spotify because the band members took their stuff down in protest of something, right? And I mean that really bummed me out because I really, really like them and I couldn't let them go. So I went and I got all of their work. But that doesn't mean that going forward I want to continue to do that. And I actually, at some point, I would like to get to the point where I'm comfortable getting rid of their stuff that I have.
That's fine on an individual level, but removing it completely from the service removes everybody else's ability to have any kind of an experience at all with it. So it's like you can get what you need from it. And on a person, like you can choose to consume media however you want to. The problem to me is that two corporations have the ability to shut down entire sections of things that people made. This is like a totally, these are distinct things, and I know they're distinct things, but the idea of book burning is bad because it is removing written thoughts, ideas from people. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. It's removing knowledge, and there's something wrong about that, right?
Right.
It's the same thing to me on a different scale of deleting someone's music because it's violent. Like, who are you? Fuck you. Like, let me listen to whatever he's saying. Like, who are you? You shouldn't have the power to remove that stuff. It's like we talked about last week. It's not how you're using the technology. It's that it exists. It's nice that streaming is so convenient. It's terrible that two companies have the power to shut down ideas or things that they don't like. Or like, oh, Joe Rogan moved his podcast to Spotify. Oh, they just removed 50 episodes. It's not that bad. Like, that's 100 hours of content.
Yeah, I mean, at a minimum. His podcast is long.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you can hate Alex Jones, but removing him makes people more interested in Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's wrong to me.
I don't know. I have a question then. Would it change your opinion if like through some sort of catastrophic event, right? Let's like miracle. I'm talking like real tragedy stuff. Like every CD of his stops working. Like every physical copy stops working, and Spotify and Apple Music just their servers crash, and like that stuff gets corrupted. Like no one purposefully. What I'm saying is like if nobody purposefully got rid of it, right? Would you feel as badly about it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So like the for some background, I kind of had this conversation today on Twitter with a dude who writes for Genius, Genius, Rap Genius.
Yeah.
That was like my dream job.
Wait, you?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was weird. So like for people watching / whatever, my dream job when I was in college was I wanted to work at Genius. I applied and then wanted an internship, and they were like, we don't do internships. And then I applied again a year later. And they're like, here's a coding challenge. And I fucking... It was embarrassing. Anyway, I didn't get the job. Anyway, Genius. I tweeted today because Genius retweeted their editor's story. That was what I just talked about, where YG's thing was removed. And so I quote tweeted it. Just like, imagine living in a world where, you basically pay for leasing music, and then one day someone decides you can't listen anymore. Like, it's fucked. And he responded. And he was basically like, hey, we don't know why it was removed. Like I implied because someone decided it was offensive. And I responded basically saying it's not about why it was removed. It's about the fact that it was removed and the ability to just, with a click of a button, remove someone's art from being able to be accessed by people is a problem. And then, the same thing exists with physical media. And I said that thing. It's like my argument for buying physical media. And he said that actually existed with Ready to Die, the Notorious B.I.G. album. I guess on remasters of it or reissues of it, there was a sample clearance issue. Right, so they like on newer versions they removed it or fixed it or whatever. So it was different music. The original thing was gone. And that's true because we live in a world where there are physical limitations to everything. Everything is and everyone is going to die. Nothing's going to stop that. Like, right? Like,
yeah.
We can have man-made convenience to make things easier and better, or whatever. But at the end of the day, we can't stop things like deterioration of vinyl or the death of human people. Like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So in that situation, it's fine to me because we don't have a choice. And it's different from someone literally building the on-off switch to someone's voice or whatever. Like that's bad. But having like, oh, we put out this thing and we sold 500 of them. We realized that from 501 on, we had to change something. Okay, but those 500 still exist. They'll eventually deteriorate, and so will the machine that plays it. But that's not in our control. So it's okay because we can't do anything about it. We're all gonna be turned into dust one day by the sun. I mean, I won't. I'll be super fucking dead by then. My dust will be turned to dust at that point. But
your dust will become another creature that turned to dust.
Yeah, I'll be like dust squared at that point or whatever. But nothing can change that, and so you can't think about it. You know?
Interesting.
Unless we can prove that you can change that, but then that goes into this whole
that's
other thing.
that's not what I'm thinking about. I don't think it matters to me whether somebody decided or through an act of fate it was or whatever, like just through happenstance it was decided for it like to disappear.
But
I think
doesn't bother you that someone would have the power to shut down something just because they want to?
No.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I think to me, you are the historical repository. The items themselves are meaningless to me. I don't have a connection to most of the physical items I own, and I have basically zero emotional connection to like almost the entirety of the electronic items I own.
Well, yeah, they're items. Like I don't care about the DVD or whatever. But the thing, like we talked about this during the road trip, if you just rely on someone's record of history, you're relying on that person to be accurate, and you're relying on that person to be honest and complete with their description of that thing. That record needs to be as accurate to the original thing it is a record of, or else you're losing history, you're losing information. So if DJ Hero controllers all deteriorated tomorrow and the only record is me talking about the controller and what it looks like on the mic, yeah, there's record of it, but like no one wants to hear me describe it. You want it to know what it looks like and whatever, to show someone 100 years from now, like they used to put plastic bullshit on their lap and do this for fun. Yeah. No,
listen, I think there is value in doing it. I wouldn't though. Like if your question is, would I get upset if somebody took like my favorite song that's currently on Spotify off? No.
But you're taking it to like the individual level. It's not about how you consume the media. It's the other side and how media is distributed. I don't give a fuck if you like something. I just want it to exist.
I see.
I mean, obviously, I give a fuck if you like something I like. But like, you know, whatever.
I know what I mean. That's a tough question because I could, like, I feel like there are viable reasons to remove stuff.
That's actually something I wanted to talk about during home game stuff because I'm essentially going to build a service where that's going to be a question for us.
Yeah, so, to me, I feel like there are like viable reasons to remove stuff, like an off switch kind of. I think that the question should be like, I think that there need to be like pretty strict rules about when stuff's removed. Basically, I feel like it needs to be like pretty, like that needs to be like harden, like not 10 Commandments style, but like pretty darn close. Like GitHub's TOS is is what I would compare it to. Like, where it's like, this is what's allowed to be in a repo and this isn't. And like Steam, like, I don't know if you saw, but like, do you remember the dating advice game?
There's probably several. I don't know which one.
It was like the real life one. That was like the dude who was like, I'm like a super
pickup artist.
Yeah, the pickup artist game. And so he came out with a pickup artist game, and it's like a total meme, like just total garbage.
Yeah.
And they came out with the second one that's like hilariously bad also.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if the dude is trying to be serious, but like as a normal human looking at these things, they're very funny.
Yeah.
And he came out with a third one, and Steam said no.
Yeah.
And the reason Steam said no was because it depicted live, like real people in doing sexual acts, and that's against Steam's TOS.
Yeah.
Which I think that's fair. Like that kind of, I think that's like basically what I'm trying to say is like, if your rules are very clear as to what they allow and what they disallow, I think it's fine to remove stuff. I think it's harder for a person to be like, yes, I can agree with this when the terms of stuff like that is changing constantly, because then like somebody has to go back and apply that to everything that's already there, which is difficult.
I have two things in response to that.
Yeah.
One is that if something is the way it is today and the rules are the way they are today, that's fine. The rules can always change. It doesn't matter how solid they are today. In 100 years, if we have the ability to put people to death for something, 100 years ago it was because they were witches, because they whatever got a headache, so they're obviously a witch. Mm-hmm. So we killed them. Okay, we realized that was wrong.
Yeah.
So our rules are different. We still kill people. It's like, okay, 100 years ago they thought they were only doing it for what was right. 100 years from now, people are going to think it's a different thing that's right. So that's something I think.
Maybe, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Maybe I want to clarify real quick. What I meant by that was like in law, like you aren't supposed to apply laws retroactively. So like, how do you do that? I think was what I was trying to get, and I said completely the wrong thing. It sounds like from what you're saying.
But this isn't a law. Like we're not.
I mean, it is your TOS is legally binding when you agree to it.
Well, yeah, but. So we updated our TOS. You can't use it if you don't. Like, it can change. Everything can change, and everything does change. Nothing today is like it was 100 years ago. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I mean, like, if your TOS changes, you are now retroactively applying it to all the stuff that was there.
Well,
or are you asymmetrically applying it?
I don't know. It just seems like a specifics of how you're doing, like what you're changing and whatever. All I'm saying is that rules change. And so saying we're only going to do this right now for just this little reason, okay, that reason is going to be different in 50 years, I promise. And you're still going to be doing this. It's going to be way more open than it is right now, just because you're opening the door. It's whatever. The other thing is it's okay if Steam says you can't put this game out on Steam. And that's only okay to me because there's other options. We live in a world where if you're putting out music on a major record label, and I understand it's like it's a small chunk of people making music. But if you're putting out music on a major record label, like a lot of the music I enjoyed over the past year wasn't released physically. The only people who are in control of that music getting to me, like I said, are two companies. Mm-mm. If those two companies say I can't do this, then I can't do this at all. I'm basically limited from releasing this completely because I'm not going to put out a CD in 2021. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to start manufacturing vinyl in 2021 unless I have the backing of a major label or something, and they're making me not talk about violence against people, whatever, if I want to go and make crazy violent shit, I should, who the fuck is Spotify to tell me I can't make something, or who is Steam to tell me I can't make something? You can tell me I can't put it out on your thing, but to tell me I can't make it, that's the difference.
But they didn't tell them they can't make it, they just removed it. Which, I mean, isn't that they should have that ability.
You can't make it is me saying if you don't put it out through us, it's like you never put it out at all. It's essentially just the monopoly of music releases. Mm-hmm. And if you don't abide by the monopoly's rules, and you just can't operate in this space, then that's my problem.
Yeah, I mean, monopolies in general are not great. I don't like them.
That's what I'm saying. And if they start to make rules that you can't have content like this, then an actual corporation starts to dictate how we as a society are.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. 100%. It's just, if your question is like just the general idea of being able to remove stuff, I don't have a problem with that, because just as a individual, my personal views make me feel like I should be okay with stuff going away.
Yeah, but that's the same logic of like, we should just be mass surveillanced all the time because I'm not doing anything wrong. It's the same thing of like, no. I'm okay, I'm all right with it, so fuck you guys.
Interesting. Well, I value my privacy, so I don't feel that way.
But it's the same logic. It's a different application. It's the same logic.
It is the same logic.
I'm okay with that bad law.
Well, it's similar logic, but you don't have to apply 100% of your logic to every decision you make. You can apply different sets of logic.
Well,
to if
it's the same problem, it's the same response. Otherwise, it's an inconsistent approach. It's not logical. Like,
whoa, okay. So all right. So when you're consuming media, right? Right. So when you're consuming media, let's say you're consuming media, right? Me consuming media means it affected me as a person, which means it, like I grew in some way, shape, or form. I've changed either very slightly or very large, depending on like what.
Not necessarily. You heard a song on the radio while you were buying a falafel or the fuck. It doesn't mean you appreciated it. It affected it was there.
Yeah.
You consumed it.
Well, yeah, but it affected you in some way, even if it's really small. Like even like really, really small. Like imagine, like let's take like Song of the Week, right? How many rap songs did I listen to prior to it? Very few. How long did it take me to like understand rap? A long time. Like I'm still not even fully there. But like each one song got me a little bit closer. It's like if I'm just sitting down and eating falafel and there's like, I don't know, music from Saudi Arabia playing. I don't think they have music there. Music from music. Yeah. You're not really supposed to like play an instrument if you're. But anyway, like let's say I don't know, Sudan.
Okay.
Fine.
Somewhere.
Let's say somewhere. I'm like, I don't remember if they're split up or not, whatever. Anyway, so let's say you're from a foreign country, right? You have no idea what they're talking about, but even that little bit maybe affected you. Maybe you really liked it and you're like, oh, cool. Maybe it didn't affect you. Like maybe you didn't get anything out of it, but it just added like a slight tinge of ambiance to you eating that meal and made that meal just a little bit better. Like all that stuff adds up as a person. Like you're a sum of everything, right?
Yeah.
So
but I don't give a fuck about the person who's affected. I care about the process.
Yeah, see, but that's what I mean. So like I'm only interested in the person. It's like the person is negatively affected by mass surveillance because that's just taking all of their personal life and putting it out in some way, shape, or form. But the other way of like taking all this stuff that's publicly available and bringing it into you, if it stops being publicly available, I'm okay with that because that person's already internalized whatever they're going to internalize from it. But the other way around it of like your internalizations being brought out there is the opposite. So it's like not the same in that way.
Just at the core level though, it is, I am okay with that. That affects me in a way I don't mind. It's affecting everybody equally, but I don't care because I only care about me. Mm-hmm. That's it. So if I say, yeah, put on the like surveillance helmet 4000 and live your life in a VR thing where the government just watches you, I'm okay with it. But it's like, okay, but like, fuck you. I'm not okay with it.
No, that's what I mean though. To me, it's like if you individually are not okay with it, then it's kind of up to you to do something about it, right? Like you're not okay with that happening, so it's on you to figure out a way around it. It's not on me to be like, well, I need to do something about it. Like, I don't care.
But you're the guy who's there just like, put the helmet on, bro.
No, I'm not. I'm like the dude who's like, there is a helmet. If you want to, you can put it on. It's not my problem.
But no, it's not optional. In the sense that all music and media consumption is optional.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is at the very basicest level, someone having the power to limit ideas because of any personal opinion that person has completely clashes with everything I think is normal, is good.
Okay.
Shutting down ideas with a literal button click is a bad place to be, even if they're shitty ideas. We can move off of it.
Yeah, I'm like the thing is like I partially agree with you, but we have to get like way more into my personal philosophy on life if I'm gonna counter argue with you.
But that's what I'm saying. I like the process of creation and release of ideas is completely independent from how someone is affected by those ideas.
Yeah,
you're talking about the impact of the process. I'm talking about the process.
Right.
The process completely dictates how someone is affected. You can't have your thing without my thing.
Yeah.
No one's impacted by a process that doesn't exist.
Right.
So who gives a shit about the individual, because the whole core of it's the process.
Yeah.
There's no music to be released if the process is fucked. If there's a dude who's there, like, I have to analyze all the music, and if it doesn't sound like Baby Shark, we're not putting it out. Then all music sounds like Baby Shark, and the world is worse.
All right. Well, yeah, but then, but again, it's like, to me, it's like how it affects you is you. So like, if you don't like that all the music has to sound like Baby Shark, it's on you to figure out a way around it. Like, go.
But here I am, fucking world, hello, stop deleting shit.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, to me, it's like, man, damn, you gotta get like really into my personal philosophy for this, don't you?
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying.
No, I think you do, because whether or not something exists is irrelevant to an individual who experienced it, unless they're trying to re-experience it.
I'm talking about experienced.
Yeah.
I'm talking about will experience. I'm talking about what if people didn't see the Titanic from now on.
Yeah, that's fine. I never saw it.
To you, that's fine. But the fact that it was made and someone decided that people from now on can't get it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Fuck how you felt about Titanic.
Okay.
Or if you've seen it.
I haven't.
It might not be available for new people. If you okay, we can move on.
Okay.
To me, that's like the whole problem.
Think
of the children. That's my whole point.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like the people who did see Titanic, right? That has affected them in some way, shape, or form. So anything they do afterwards is in some way, shape, by the Titanic. So in some way, shape, or form, all of society that they can impact is affected by the Titanic.
No.
So yeah, that to me, that's like the core of it. It's like, that's why when you read like a really old, that's like when this is like a cock, not like a common issue. No,
you definitely said it's a cock. I heard it in the headphones.
It's like one of those common issues when people read Shakespeare. They're first like, this is so hard to get into because the words don't make sense. But then also, like, once they finally get over that hurdle, if they ever do, and they actually like read the story or like read into it, they're like, oh, bro, like, I've read like 100 books like this, or like I've seen like 70 movies with the exact same storyline, but they don't realize like that was the first one. And it's like, reading Shakespeare doesn't make you like if Shakespeare didn't exist, we would be losing something, because that's like the original version. But like, so many things have been affected by that like we could reconstruct Shakespeare if we ever need to. It's like, to me, it's like the opposite of, it's like how people like reconstructed the family of languages, right? Like, all you had was the end results of like all of your modern languages. Well, like, how did they all tie together? And you had to like backtrace and like read old books, or like not read old books, like figure out like, oh, this is like an old language that doesn't really have much interaction, but they have like these words and like these sounds, like they're probably related. And you keep going down the tree until you finally like figure out, okay, so like this is like where language, like how the language is like in like how Indo-European languages developed, like how Chinese and Japanese and Korean developed, and how like the Basque language developed, like all that stuff. Like, to me, I think that's, as long as you can do something like that, it's probably okay. Because like, if somebody's like really needs to, they could. It would be really hard, but you could reconstruct Shakespeare from all of the modern movies and stuff. Like, if I gave you The Lion King and told you it was Shakespearean, and then I gave you something else that was basically the story of Hamlet that was also Shakespearean, you'd probably put it together, like what the commonalities were. People are really good at finding patterns.
Yeah, but you would never get an idea of what that means because you erased it willingly. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, if I'm hearing you correctly, then you are saying that if I proposed, let's get rid of all of Shakespeare's work tomorrow because we've got Lion King, you'd say, yeah, sounds all right. And if that's the case, then hard disagree, and we can move on.
Well, I don't like making decisions for other people. So
That's
for
what
me,
I'm
for me,
That's my whole problem.
Yeah, but
you can't make decisions for other people.
Yeah, but what you're saying is that other people can't remove material.
I'm saying I'm making a decision that you cannot make a decision for me.
Okay.
That's my decision.
Your decision is you. Yeah. Okay. All right.
You can't decide. I can't hear beat the flockers.
Okay. Yeah. No one can decide you can't, but they can remove it from their. Wait, I'm confused. How deep are we going on? Are you?
We live in a world where that streaming company has so much power that they effectively do control my ability to have access to it. It's not that they're an option; it's that they're the option.
I see.
So someone at that company making that choice is making that choice for everybody because of the way it's set up.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with that. I'm not. Like if you said you were gonna get rid of like all of your copies of Shakespeare, I'm cool with that. If you said that you were going to remove every copy of Shakespeare in existence, then I would have okay.
And we live in a world where because everything is digital, we don't have. I put out 500 things and they're
also,
there.
You're like, so you're good.
Oh, I got super into it. Anyway, it's
you're good. I was like, this guy's getting really loud.
It's not in here.
Joseph's doing a Yazeed and shouting because he's excited. I love it.
Yeah, man. Fuck. That's what I'm saying. Because it's digital, because there is the ability. It's a problem.
Yeah,
if it was just someone saying that's bad, no. Okay, but if it's the person saying that's bad, no, then no.
Yeah, see, okay. So I think maybe my understanding was a little bit off because I agree that you shouldn't. I agree that like having one person being able to get rid of 100% of something is not a great time because that's like how we ran into a lot of environmental problems. But like if individually you opted to remove the song from everything, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem. Or even if there was like 100 companies and 5 of them were like, we're going to get rid of it because it doesn't meet our terms of service, I'm also fine with that because there's 95 other ones. But yeah, that's like I said, like to me, it's I would rather it be down to like an individual level like that than for it to be handled like top down. Because I the other thing too is like I don't really know much about the song or like where else it's available or anything like that. So for me, I was like, it's probably like on other stuff.
Well, yeah, but like it was removed from YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music all at once.
It's like everything.
That's exactly.
It's like 97% of the internet right there.
Yes, that's exactly what.
Yeah, see, I wasn't fully with it. But here's what I understood. I was like, there was a rap song from like 7 years ago, and I was immediately like, okay, some old ass shit. And you were like. Yeah, and it got removed from Spotify, and I was like, I'm fine with that. I don't give a singular fuck about this rap song that I've never heard of, but for an artist I've also maybe never heard of.
It's wild because it's such a big deal to me, and I was like talking to Zenobia about it earlier too, and she just like, okay. I was like, I don't know, man.
I think you were way more in and involved in understanding what was going on than me or Zenobia, because I'm like, you came at me like, here's a song by this rap man named Young OG or YG or something, and I was like, I don't know who that is, and you're like, there's this rap song that you may have heard, and you rapped a little bit of it, and it's like, I don't know. And you're like, anyway, he has this song that was on Spotify, and I was like, okay, cool. And it's like from 7 years ago, and it's like old shit, all right. And then you're like, it's gone from Spotify. I was like, all right. Yeah. Did he remove it? Did they remove it? Because like my favorite band of all time, Maiden Heights, they removed everything from Spotify.
Yeah.
And they never had vinyls or CDs. There's like YouTube kinda for like some of their stuff. Their second album, What Would I Be Without My Enemies? But their first album, which I don't even remember the name of now, I don't think that's on YouTube really. So yeah, that's like gone. That's like decision by the artist to remove their stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll have that conversation with Homegames stuff, which it's been like an hour. We spent like 40 minutes on that topic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I just
Joseph went into this being like, I don't want to be here for 4.5 hours. 45 minutes of us just talking about a rap song on Spotify.
But to me,
and the underlying philosophies on it.
Well, so the takeaway for me, all of the conversation about it aside, the takeaway for me was I don't like that. If something like if Spotify basically decided our podcast sucked too hard tomorrow, that they didn't want it on Spotify anymore, then all of our podcasts would essentially be gone. No, that's about it. I mean, we're on like 8 different platforms, but you get what I'm saying. Like removing it, it's the same kind of a thing. And I have all the files, but it's just on my hard drive. And so I want to make them available for download, like easy. So if there's any other like weirdo preppers out there, they can just download all of our stuff in case they like are afraid of Spotify like me. So
that's fine.
When I do the new website stuff that I'm going to work on, I'll make download links for the podcast. And I think the downside is that we won't get stats from it, like we won't get numbers, but I think that's also okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm fine with that. I think it's hilarious. You should put it under a tab that says for weirdo preppers, because damn, that really encapsulates a lot of your recent boomerisms.
I feel like the dude on the sidewalk with like the end is near sign, where I'm just like, why don't you people care? But I
think it's because you're very in the weeds on some of these things that a lot of us aren't. Like if you told me tomorrow some dude's deleting all the water, then I'd be like, all right, hold on a second.
All right, anyways, it's time to move on to home game stuff.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, home game stuff. Did you have anything for home game stuff?
Yeah, basically I just implemented the vision I was talking about last time. I still need to make the actual game, and then just I'm behind but I'll put out the game because I had, personal stuff that I don't think is in the podcast come up this past week. So
yeah,
stressing me out.
Yeah. That's all good. And we had a bachelor party this weekend, so
hell yeah. Which also was stressing me out, but for a different reason.
Thank you for doing that, by the way. I appreciate
no worries. As long as you had a good time, I had a good time.
I had a great time. I wish we were there longer.
I do too. I just didn't want it to be. I didn't know if people were able to take off, so I didn't book it longer.
We basically got there at 7.
Yeah.
Became inebriated, and woke up. We had to go.
Yeah. I was thinking about this on the way. Or on the way to pick up my dog, actually, I was like, damn, I'm stupid. I should have booked it for Friday night and Saturday night, and Sunday we could leave.
That's all good.
Next time, when you renew your vows,
yeah,
when you remarry Synovia, I'll book it for longer.
Sounds like
man. Listen, honestly, I told you years ago when you have your bachelor party, I was going to take you to Japan, and I couldn't because of COVID. So I'm sorry, but next, when you definitely renew your vows, and we'll go to Japan together.
That would have been an intense bachelor party, where it's like,
so you'd be like, oh, whenever my bachelor party, you're like, yeah, okay, like we got my passport renewed. Right. Fucking fly to Japan and get.
No, let me get a passport. I don't.
Oh, you don't have one? Hell yeah.
USA chant. Anyway. Yeah. For home game stuff, I worked on some things, basically just a continuation of what we talked about last week with my game catalog stuff.
Yeah.
So the big change is essentially just thinking about how someone can maybe self-publish a game kind of from start to finish. If someone learned the tools, learned the technology, kind of mess around with home games, and this kind of conversation that Yazeed and I have had back and forth, but pretty much the entire time we've had this podcast is the way that we integrate games with home games. And the thinking was, well, we'll just review all the code, and people will make code reviews for the home games core repository, which is where all of the core tools and the core everything lives. And at the moment, all of the games live in there too. So in my head, it made sense for people to just make pull requests there. But if you think about just the idea in general of releasing a game, like if someone were to put out a game on a PlayStation, they wouldn't modify the PlayStation. They would make it available, and the PlayStation is compatible with it. The PlayStation doesn't know that the game exists. It just sees the game and reads the data. Right? So I was thinking about ways to incorporate some system like that into home games, where maybe in the same way that today, if you have a game and you have external files like a photo or a song or a video, your game can reference these things, and home games can download them and have them referenced by your game. But the code can reference these files, whatever. What if the code could also download basically more code, and then it's getting more games, and so you can download games from home games and then kind of plug those in the way that you put a disc into a PlayStation and have it just kind of work without the code being part of the original system. So I think decoupling these things makes a lot of sense. And what I was thinking last week was NPM, right? Using Node Package Manager, just because it's like a standard tool and platform for people to, use node dependencies and publish libraries and stuff like that. But it felt like a misuse because we aren't making libraries. Games are not libraries. They're not general purpose tools for Node. They're very specific things for home games. You can't just plug a game into your web browser and see what happens.
And you could. You build an emulator for home games.
I mean, I guess technically you could build your own thing that could run that game, but you'd be a weirdo for doing that. But yeah, just trying to figure out how that whole thing would work. And I don't think NPM is the right way to do that. What I think is the right way to do it is tell me where your code is. I'm going to confirm that that's your code. And I'm going to basically create a snapshot of your code on my side. So then your code, like your game snapshot, becomes a downloadable thing for someone else in home games. Does that make sense? You tell me where your code is. I'll build your game. At this time, this game is available. You can go and change your code and whatever, but this build is always available. Like you published your code at a certain time. That becomes a downloadable version of your game. So I can go and search for, Dickface 4000 and find your hot new game.
Okay.
And it's just available because you submitted it.
Okay.
I kind of got that working.
Okay. Hey.
So you can give me a GitHub URL. Home Games will download that game and then add it to the dashboard. It's kind of just proof of concept right now, but it does work.
Nice. So does it? Sorry, 1 second. So does it do that automatically? Does somebody have to submit a game to Home Games, or what's the flow there?
Yeah. So my current thinking is on the Home Games website, you'd go to the developer dashboard and you would say basically create a game. Dickface 4000 is my game, and then it'll say, cool, where's the code? You give it a GitHub URL, and because this is kind of one of those lack of features becomes a feature, because we don't have the ability to integrate with your GitHub account, so we can't pull a private repo.
Yeah.
The feature is that your code has to be public, which is,
that should be expected. Honestly,
yes. For this is all public code, whatever. Your code, your publicly available code, tell us where it is. We'll associate this build with this game you told us about, and now we have a new version, right? Version 1, version 2, version 3, and you can just publish. And so someone just says, "Hey, build a new version." And that's the developer basically just hitting a publish button on their game, and Home Games just kind of magically takes care of the rest and takes your code, builds it, makes it available and searchable and discoverable, that kind of stuff, with a record in a DynamoDB table that you can search for. So I can look up Dick and get Dickface. I
see. I am. So you told me this, I remember, at the bachelor party, and my immediately thought was, oh no. Yeah. The amount of porn that's going to try to get into Home Games.
Well, that's what, either people are making porn and they're submitting it to us directly for it to be a slow, painful process of us saying no, or they make their porn and that's it. We don't have to care.
Well, we kind of do.
Do we?
Yeah.
Why?
We're distributing.
Check a box that says it's not porn. If it's porn, that's their fault. I don't know law, but that sounds right to me. I probably need to consult with an actual legal person.
I think my concern with this is that you and I have no idea what law says.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we're generally where there's something called law, and we're there's something called law somewhere out there that has rules that we're supposed to follow.
Yeah.
No idea what those rules are, really.
All I know is YouTube, you can upload literally whatever you want on YouTube, and they have things that will remove it, but it doesn't stop me from trying.
Yeah, that's fine.
We can't have automated checks. YouTube can't have automated checks. The problem with automated robots moderating everything is that they're not going to be right. So you can't have 100% accurate moderation of all content with a robot. So in my head, it's kind of like the early days of YouTube, where you just go and you see the what's trending. It's that's hardcore fucking, and then you click the video and it's definitely porn. It's porn.
Yeah. I think as long as we have a way of saying that this is good, not good, but this is I want a way of saying this meets our terms of service, or this hasn't been tested for our terms of service.
We don't have terms of service. We
yet.
Would need that. That's what I'm saying. I don't really care about the legal stuff, because I know that today YouTube lets me upload stuff, and if I upload something that's against the rules, it's my fault.
Yeah.
That's the same model I think we should have. And yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I just know that if you submit a thing and that thing is available somewhere, and as long as you were honest when you said, I agree to your terms of service, like the record of you saying that you weren't going to do what you did is here, so that's completely your thing.
Right, but that's interesting.
Again, I'm not a lawyer. I just know that that's what YouTube does.
Yeah.
And I imagine when I go to a legal dude,
okay.
he'll be like, "Oh, put this form on your website. Here's this text. Copy paste it onto your terms of service. Make people check this box, and you're legally clear."
Yeah.
I don't care about how that really works yet.
Yeah.
It's just how it will work one day.
Yeah, I agree with that. Basically, as long as we have a way of saying that we're not personally liable for for somebody doing something like that, I'm cool with it because my big fear is that somebody uploads like something that's very illegal, and now suddenly you and I are distributors of that very illegal thing, and now we're in trouble along with that the person who put it up there.
Yeah.
So as long as we're just like you're agreeing that this isn't what you're saying it is, because we don't allow that on our product.
Yeah, that's all just legal shit.
Yeah, because the other thing too is I know like GitHub, like they can't troll all of the code to see what's going on in there. Yeah. Until it hits like a certain point, there's a certain number of reports or whatever, then they finally are like, oh shit, this is against our terms of service. It's just too much. And I think we'd run into a similar problem where it's just too much. Yeah, I know also like Roblox ran into that problem.
Everything with user submitted content will run into this problem.
Yeah.
And every rule that you put in place, people will subvert it. It's just true.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm not even concerned about that. Like, if people break the rules, then okay.
Yeah,
I just need to figure out the rules.
Yeah,
we fuck if you break them.
What happens if they break the rules?
Law.
I mean, do we remove it from our service if they broke our rules?
If legally we have to, I guess so. Yeah.
What if legally we don't have to?
Then what's the problem? I don't know.
What if you and I decided like you can't dox Yazeed and Joseph, and then some game does it? We're gonna remove that game. It's not illegal. We just don't like it.
I don't think I should ever have the power to unpublish someone's game.
What?
Let me think about that.
Nah, you can't. No, that can't be true.
I can have the power if it's I need the on-off switch if it's illegal. If someone uploads something, whatever. But on a personal, I shouldn't have a personal rule, my personal preference about what you can put on my platform.
Okay.
It's like if the CEO of Spotify was like, I hate rap music. What? Like, we can, like, this is what I was talking about with deleting things. I think we will have to have the ability to delete things. Just like how if you go on GitHub right now and you push a private key or something accidentally and you make it public, you need to delete that.
Yeah.
GitHub can delete it. You have to contact them to do it, but they can remove it from there. And it's just not easy to do because you really shouldn't ever do that.
Yeah.
Delete's not, like, whatever. We have to have the ability, but restrict it. Kind of like your
Bro,
rules.
I wonder how many private keys are in the Arctic Code Vault.
They automatically send you emails when we detect that you did that, though.
No, I know, but this was like a long time ago. Some of the code that was in there is old.
It must be. But they do email, like...
Now they do.
For the past couple of years. I know we got one like 4 years ago.
Yeah, but the Arctic Code Vault was like 4 years ago.
Arctic Code Vault was a year ago, bud.
Bro, what?
Oh my God.
No way.
Your perception of time is insane.
They didn't do it in 2020. There's no way they did that in 2020. It had to be like 2018.
Okay. It is not 2018. What the fuck? I just typed a URL. This keyboard. I'm just trying to see when my Arctic Vault... What the fuck? Oh, I'm hitting the backspace key instead of this keyboard.
It's me and Ken actually type. It's all been a secret that Synovia does all the typing. Joseph just speaks to her.
This keyboard is terrible. Okay. Oh my God, did I get another GitHub follower? No, I knew these people already. Anyway, let me see when the Arctic Cold Vault contributor thing happened. 2020. GitHub archive profile.
Okay. Regardless, my point still stands. Just listen. I don't understand how time works. Is what I've learned.
4 years ago,
like 100 years ago. What was that? Like 20 Sundays ago? I don't know. But there has to be like old ass code that had private keys and that just got in because no one it was so old that they didn't even think to check for that kind of stuff.
I mean, what are you gonna? I mean, it's been there for years. Like us publishing it, is it gonna make it worse?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they're not even publishing it; they're just storing it for later. And but it just cracks me up to think about like how many like really awful things are in that. I mean, my code's in there; it's not good. So
yeah, but yeah, I just making it a proper platform. I think you need to have people be able to submit their code and have it separate from your thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just.
Is there a way for someone to get a game in Homegames without putting it up through us?
Not at the moment, no. But that's like with the new flow will be.
I mean, sorry, with the new flow, not right now. I mean, like with the new flow, is there a way for someone to have a game that they don't add to Homegames proper, but just to their local version?
With the new way I'm thinking of it, no games will exist in the Homegames repo or the Homegames core repo.
Maybe more specific. Is there a way to make a game for Homegames that other people can't find?
If you don't publish it.
How do you get it?
Build it.
What?
If I make a game for Homegames, I just make it and then I play it. If I want people to play it, I can publish it on the website.
Okay. Maybe I don't understand then.
If I make a YouTube video, I can watch it with you. If I want people to see it, I can put it on YouTube. You see?
All right.
I don't get the question. What's the?
Okay, so in my head, right? Say I want to own like a sick game that has a bunch of references and personal information about, like, okay, let's say like your questions game is Synovia, right? Mm-hmm. You want to play that on your computer. Mm-hmm. You write all the code for it as a game. How do you run it?
That question's confusing because it's just you wrote it and you run it.
Okay.
The way that you run Homegames.
All right, then how do we get the code? How does the code get in the game? From if it's been published, how do we get that into Homegames?
Oh, that's like the search and filter functionality on the dashboard. Basically, like we need a marketplace app in Homegames.
Okay.
Where the way that like the dashboard today is like a game, but it's not. It's an application in Homegames.
Yeah.
We would need to build something where you can have like a search bar and a filter and that kind of stuff to see published games. Mm-hmm. But if you just want to like test, like when you're developing the game, you need to run it. Yeah. I need to figure out some sort of way to pull in that code locally and like reference like this file over here is a game to pull into Homegames and npm run, and now it's got my game in it. But outside of that, I can take my separate repo, give it to you, publish through this, and now the game is available through this marketplace.
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
So the code doesn't live in our stuff at all. We don't see the code. We don't read the code. We don't know whatever. We just have basically this process where someone says, here's the code. We email the GitHub owner, say, hey, someone submitted your game through Homegames. You sure? And then they're like, yes. So that proves that they actually have access to that code. It's not just someone uploading the Linux repo or whatever the fuck, you know?
That they're uploading the Titanic before they delete it everywhere else. Or the sole owners of the Titanic suddenly.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, and then we'll have like an automated thing to be like, you only can use the dependencies that are part of Homegames core. You can't just like pull in new libraries and stuff because the system that you're adding it to doesn't have those libraries.
I got you.
That'll help us restrict things like just, weirdo libraries doing weirdo shit and sending data to whatever people, but they'll still have access to like file system and things like that. So in the same way that Windows is like, yo, you downloaded this from the internet. We don't know what the fuck. We kind of have to do that too. Be like, okay, maybe we have some games that we've marked as like official good, whatever. But at the end of the day, the other ones are just code someone wrote. You're just choosing to download it and run it.
Yeah, I think this was my hang up on this the whole time of how, as a new person who has no clue how the fuck Homegames actually works, they're just playing Homegames. How do they know if a game is not going to like eat their hard drives, like RMRF, like the System32 folder on their Windows computer or whatever? Like, how do you is there a way? I would like a way. I'm gonna propose this officially.
We can disallow sub-process. I guess it's like the only thing I can think of.
Maybe, but I was gonna say,
or files.
Maybe I would like a way for somebody to, people can submit whatever, and it's just on Homegames or whatever. I would like a way for them to be like, I would like this game to be reviewed by Homegames official and to be marked as officially.
That's what I said. We have official.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot because when you're new and you don't know what you're doing, we could put you on there, and you're like, here's the listings for all of the Home Games approved games, and if you want to go into the dark web of you can go dig some trenches, homie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We would basically need like a curated list of what we would want to be in the kind of base thing, and then people can always download the games that are available after that, and that's when it becomes like a big searchable. That's when that game catalog service stuff I was talking about last week starts to come in, because you need to be able to discover everything that's not approved by us, but everything that is should be front and center. You go to Home Games, start it up for the first time, and it is Home Games recommends this. Mm-hmm. Or go to the weird shit, and then when you go to the weird shit, we can try to get as much as we can out of it before we publish. Like, we can have automated tests to know that it does these certain basic things. It gives data out of a squish function. It does other certain things or whatever.
Like how on your phone, it's like, this app's going to use your microphone. You're like,
yes.
Why does Magic Carp need my microphone?
Yeah.
The Magic Card game, by the way, doesn't need a microphone. That's the only app that I could think of that isn't like a financial one.
Yeah, it's not. It wouldn't. I don't know how we would actually do that, because we'd have to basically look at their code and then find basically determine everything it does from analyzing the code. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to write an Alexer and a parser. No, you don't even need a Yak for a JavaScript.
I don't care.
You could.
Language and syntax.
We could do it.
I don't know anything.
Listen, you've basically written your own language. Do you know that?
What?
Yeah, you've written your own Home Games language. I don't think you realize it, but you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I believe you.
Well, because like your language isn't complete yet, but it is close.
See, I feel like you're saying something mathy. I don't know, just going over my head.
No, it's like Turing. It's like a language is Turing complete. Like HTML on its own isn't Turing complete, but HTML plus CSS is. JavaScript is. It's basically like, if it can do a certain set of mathematics, then it's considered Turing complete, because you can do.
So it is mathy.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it is. It's like, there's like a computer science thing. Like, a language is.
I don't know that.
Anyway, I have to give my dog medicine at 10 p.m. So we gotta make sure that this episode is over by 10 p.m.
Well, fuck. Is it time for Song of the Week?
I don't know. Do you have anything? I didn't want to like cut you off, but what else do you have for Romeo stuff?
No, that was it. It's just I got that stuff working. I just need to flesh out the user interface, and we'll talk about this probably in the next one, because I'm gonna go over the kind of current state of my 2021 plans, and so basically some stuff from 2022 is gonna creep into what I'm working on right now. But besides that, yeah, just thinking about game catalog. Oh, and I got another AWS bill, and that guy did not go down. I thought it was going to go down. So load balancers, turns out, are expensive as shit, especially when you got 3 of them that you're not using. So deleted some load balancers today.
Oh yeah, brother.
Oh yeah, that's about it.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, I mean, I think it's really cool. I think having that would be really, really nice, and also it means that you and I don't need to review
We would review content, not code.
Yeah, we don't need to review n number of games.
Yeah.
Can we also add a feature that says your game's shit, and if enough people say your game's bad, we mark this game is marked as probably poor quality?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing we can open there for like rating systems and recommendations.
I mean, like, I want people to rate the actual functionality of the game. I want like two. I want to be like, is the content fun or whatever? Like, that's just, general rating, but I want another one that's like for other developers. That's like, is this game functional? We crowdsource the functionality checks. That's a joke. I don't think that would actually work, but it would really crack me up to see somebody make like 70 Home Games accounts to like make their game seem very functional.
I mean, that's definitely a problem that YouTube has. It's kind of funny because it's funny to think about because there's no customer today. But if this were to take off, there are problems we'd have to think of. Just thank God we're not thinking of them yet. But one other thing I just wanted to mention is built-in versioning. I think is really, really important. So I think if someone publishes a new version of their game, the old one should still be available. You can delete. I think you should be able to delete your own game the same way that you can delete your own YouTube video for whatever personal preferences, whatever. I just think the reality of that is that you can delete your game, but we've got People have builds on their computer right now, and you can't do anything about that. We can't revoke the build from someone's machine. I mean, we can, but it'd be kind of weird. And we can't promise that we will.
Why can we really? Because they could just run in offline mode, and we'd have no way of knowing.
That's what I'm saying. We can't promise. We can't guarantee that we'd actually remove them all. We could just do something where every time someone connects, we just fucking erase code. Weird, but.
Congratulations, you've connected to Homegames. 70% of your games are gone now. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So I do think people should be able to unpublish stuff or delete stuff. I mean, even if you like accidentally publish something you didn't mean to, if you accidentally put a private key in your build, we should allow you to delete that. But when you put up a new version, I just think it should be a versioned list. So you can go to like the detail thing of a game, go to Square and be like, here's build this, release this day, build this, release this day, and you can play. I just think it'd be really cool if you could play old versions of games. Like people play CS 1.6, whatever. Like what if there was just a button to just launch 1.6 instead of the newest shit? Instead of having to like play a whole separate binary or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just click game and then click version, release this date.
I agree. I think I personally would never play an old version of a game, but yeah, I could see somebody crazy enough to do that. Well, hold on a second.
I'm crazy.
I'd play like the first Pikmin.
I don't know. I just think it'd be interesting. I just think it's cool for I just think it's a cool feature. If a game is broken and it's fixed tomorrow, you can still play the busted version, see the code for it.
Yeah.
All this exists. Here's the game snapshot, and here's a link to the commit it was built from. You can read the code for this game when it was broken and see the difference when it was fixed. You could play the difference when it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of the cool things about making all of this public.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That sounds cool. Hell yeah.
Cool.
Nice job, man.
Thanks.
You're so smart.
I'm all right.
So handsome. You want a song of the week?
Song of the week. Your song of the week, Yazeed, is not written on here, but it was
Hey Ocean and Ashley Ball. It's bicycle.
Bicycle singular?
Yeah, I think it's singular.
Okay.
Or it's plural.
You know Zoe Deschanel?
Yeah.
And how she sings?
Yeah.
It sounded like one of those.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, where it's just like there's barely an instrument here, and it's kind of just like soft woman singing about something that I don't think I understand.
Yeah.
She's referencing things that I just don't know. I don't know what she's talking about. It was cool. It was a nice little vibe.
Yeah. It reminds me of in John Wick 1 when he goes to the Intercontinental and he goes down like the basement hell thing, and there's the lady singing. He's like, I have no idea what she's talking about. She's just there as like background chatter while all the assassins do their biz.
I don't remember the singing, but okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's just like singing like smooth jazz or something.
Background singing.
Yeah. I think that song reminds me of that.
Got it.
The thing is, I listened to Hey Ocean and Ashley Ball's Islands album. I think is that the title of the album. I listened to that front and back because Joseph was like, I can't believe you never do that. So I was like, well, I'll show him. I'll listen to the whole thing. And I got like 7 songs and like 4 of them I really liked. And I was like, hell yeah. But then I was trying to think of like, if I pick like another song that sounds very similar to Islands, it'd be pretty funny for Joseph to be like, didn't we listen to this last week?
Yeah.
So I wanted to pick a song that was pretty different. So I went with Bicycle. I think it's fun. Also because it ties in with me learning a bicycle and also the bicycle gang story.
Damn, really pulling it all together. I like that.
Yeah.
No, it was cool. I like songs that don't have a lot of instrumentation a lot. Or sometimes I like that because you get to just appreciate the voice. It's not just behind a bunch of music. It's just you just hear her voice in its natural state. I mean, there's obviously like editing that goes on.
Yeah, engineering around it.
But no, it's nice just appreciating singing a simple short song.
Yeah, I like it. I like that song. It gives me good vibes.
Yeah,
and that's what I value a lot in my music.
Speaking of good vibes, had to get up out the city. I just got a buddy killed.
That's right, he did.
My song of the week was
which didn't even faze me anymore.
My song of the week was For the Gang by 42 Doug and Roddy Ricch. It's the best song I've heard all year. I can't stop listening to it. What did you think?
I listen to this song a lot. I
played it the whole weekend at the bachelor party.
I like it. Yeah. It's not my kind of song. Yeah. But it is if this was the first time I had heard it and you didn't lead in saying it was your favorite song, I would have pegged it as a song you like. It feel like it hits a lot of the stuff that you like in your music.
Yeah, me and Tynan were talking. I don't know if you were awake during the conversation, but it sounds like they knew that people were itching to go out and do shit because
I was awake for this part, but
okay, yeah, they haven't been doing shit for so long. So it feels like these two gentlemen created this song specifically for like first day out of the house in a year, because it just sounds like driving in California or something, and like the way that the four like dun, dun, it does that thing where even if you don't know a goddamn word in the song, you can still like half sober, just like
yeah, you can like nod your head to it. Listen, I from the first time I heard that song, I was like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. It's got that perfect like bouncy sound. It's so good. It's such a fun song, and I like 42 Doug a lot. I feel like this song is gonna blow up, partially because Roddy Ricch is on it, and partially because of how it sounds. But if 42 Doug is like out of here after this, just know I was talking about him a long time ago. That's all. Just wanted to say that.
I have to make this lame joke. What happened to the 41?
Oh, he didn't make it. Yeah, he dug too deep. He got lost in there.
42 Doug is actually not the best digger.
No.
He's just the one who made it out of Moria.
He's the safest.
It's a Lord of the Rings joke, but it's all good.
Over my head, bud.
Yeah, mine's Moria. The dwarves dug too deep and woke up a Balrog, killed them all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, his buddy, he just got a buddy killed.
He did get a buddy killed. Maybe he was the one who got out after the Balrog woke up and he was like, I'm out. See you later. The song is a lot of fun. I like it a lot. It's got good energy. I wouldn't say it's got good vibes because
It doesn't have good vibes.
it does have good energy though.
Yeah, it's like a happy murder music or whatever. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. And then I just had an honorable mention. I know you didn't hear this song probably. Last week I was kind of pre-ordering my song of the week, and I was thinking it was going to be this song because as of yesterday was Easter, so I can drink coffee again. So I've been drinking coffee, and I don't know if you're familiar with Ariana Grande,
Yeah.
and her discography, but she's got a song out right now called 34 plus 35 remix with I think it's Megan Thee Stallion and Doja Cat, and it's a good song. It's all over the radio. But there's a part where she just says, I've been drinking coffee. The way that she says it is like really perfect. The coffee, like the way that,
Like the way she says it specifically.
the word coffee does it for me. The k and the F, like it's just so smooth.
Yeah.
And the way that she sings, I've been drinking coffee, makes me want coffee. And so I fucking love that song. I don't think I've heard the other verses. I only know the first one that's Ariana Grande, and then once someone else starts rapping, I just want to hear that. I've been drinking coffee. You should look it up.
Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't think I really listen to Ariana Grande.
Me neither. I just heard it on the radio, and I was like, I need that.
Rookie mistake.
I need that song. What was I gonna say?
I was gonna ask you, do you think Doja Cat would be as popular without TikTok as she is?
I don't know, because I don't know what she's even doing on TikTok. All I know is that she had that bitch I'm a cow, and she's really pretty. So.
Say So became insanely popular. It's like
yeah.
a background track to a lot of stuff.
But I heard that on the radio. I don't know if it's because it was on TikTok.
I don't know. I don't know either. I'm not really on TikTok. I just saw on YouTube compilations, and then I looked up that song because I was like, I like that song. And then it had like a bajillion views, and I was like, me and the whole damn world, apparently. All right.
Yeah, it's like when you were like, have you heard this hot new shit from, what's his name? Underground guy, The Weeknd? It was like 6 months ago.
Did I really do that?
No, you weren't like under. It was Blinding Lights. That was your song of the week. It's like, that's the #1 song of 2020.
Oh, I didn't even know. Yeah, I don't listen to the radio or like follow any of that. It's like literally whatever I've run into.
That's word for word what you said when I made fun of you the first time.
Well, you know, at least
I'm better than most people. I don't listen to the radio.
I'm not. I listen. If anything, I let a monopoly choose what I listen to because it's whatever Spotify recommends. I just kind of go along with.
Yeah. Real sheeple.
I really am when it comes to music. I'm not a go-getter. I'm like, this is what I like. And Spotify was like, then you're going to like these things. And I was like, I like those things. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please give me some more.
But yeah, no, you should look up 34 plus 35 remix. Cause,
I'll listen to the original version first because that's how I do it.
as long as she still says, I've been drinking coffee, all you got to really hear is that line.
I'll just look up that line.
Yeah, just look up Ariana Grande, I've been drinking coffee. Real quick, also on this song, she has the hook is "Can you stay up all night On the radio, she says "love me till the daylight." On the unedited version, she doesn't say "love."
Yeah.
And I have this problem with a few songs. It's "Shawty is the Shit" by Fabulous and The Dream. On the radio, that song is called "Shawty is a 10." Is a 10. A 10. And then on the unedited, it's "the shit," and it sounds terrible. There's another one where it's a Drake song. It's on the radio, it's "You the best, you the best," and the real song is "You the fucking best," or Enrique Iglesias.
That's
Here's the situation. Yeah.
To every nation.
Yeah. That whole song.
That's the only one I knew about.
It's just awkward when fuck is part of a chant. But tonight I'm fucking you. It's just ugh.
What's funny about that is I think the song is way better with "Love in You."
Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's a few songs where the radio edit is better, and the ones I've listed are all that. And I do think the Ariana Grande song is part of that. I really don't want a woman to tell me to fuck her on the chorus of the song. It's just weird. You know?
Yeah, I don't want anyone telling me that. Like, I don't want anyone demanding that on the radio from me. Like,
and she's been drinking coffee. You don't know what's going on.
I don't like the taste of coffee. So if we're gonna do it, you gotta like brush your teeth or something first, okay? But what was I gonna say?
It's almost 10.
That Enrique, yeah, I know. That Enrique, that clock's off by 2 minutes. We still have 3.
Okay.
I just memorized how the offset.
My computer says 58. But.
Oh shit. Enrique Iglesias. I like his body of work. Maybe that'll be one of my songs of the week next week if I remember to go look him up.
Ping Pong Song, still a hit.
I do love that song too.
Yeah, he's got a lot of them. Is it time to give the dog her medicine and say goodbye?
It is time to give the dog her medicine, which is not a euphemism. It is actually true. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. I don't know why I'm taking us out of this podcast, but as always, our music is sung by our boy Tynan or at Nightan on Bandcamp. You can catch us on Twitter at Homegames.io, all one word. You can catch us on our website, Homegames.io. Joseph is going to be making improvements, so hold tight and please accept our apologies for also Joseph's work, which I feel like I'm dunking on him for, but I'm not.
Oh, it's big trash.
And then lastly, you can email us at I can't read the words.
Podcast at homegames.io with any questions or comments. If you made it this far into the show and you made it through that probably painful conversation about YG and shit, just let us know. Is this interesting or good or whatever? I have no fucking idea. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.